Hello and welcome to PlayStation Access, where this week we have been daydreaming about the upcoming release of Baldur's Gate 3 on PS5 and the tug of war between good and evil that it will inevitably trigger in our fickle consciences. Larian's D&D RPG invites you to weigh up the right and wrong of every situation, to which we say, why can't you have both? Yes, these are evil gaming moments that felt oh so good. Kicking off naturally with my love of ancient nautical horrors.
Dredge is this fantastic, absolutely brilliant game of the year, some would say, if you look at videos on the channel. It's an absolutely fantastic little Lovecraftian fishing sim where you go around in your little boat, fishing up some weird aberrant fish that are all mutated and strange, and there's basically this constant sense of unease and dread. What's going on?
See what they did there?
That you've got to kind of wrestle with and deal with as you go around. And you're not ever explicitly told what's going on. You're just given this quest line by a strange collector to get as many relics as possible from different areas on the map and bring them all to him. And you do this throughout the game, and I say it's morally grey as in you're just a fisherman. You're just a fisherman, just an innocent fisherman, just a normal fisherman.
We're just innocent fishermen.
Going around, doing your job and not really thinking twice about it. Until you get to the end of the game, where if you've spoken to the lighthouse keeper, she's given you some kind of weird vibes and has basically woken you up to what is really going on with the collector, who doesn't actually exist. He is this figure in the mirror that you've been talking to that is a reflection of yourself. So you've been doing all this because you've repressed these memories of losing your wife at sea. If you look through all of the notes you get in bottles, then you can see that kind of all the clues towards this. And coming to this realisation at the end, you then have a choice as to whether you continue with the collector's journey and complete a ritual to bring her back from the dead, or you go down the lighthouse keeper's journey where she guides you to absolution, where you can throw everything into the sea and just accept your fate, which is to be eaten by a big fish. And that's that ending.
What was the first choice, please?
The first choice is the evil choice, where it pays to be evil, baby. So to get around to the title, you can go, actually, I'm going to resurrect my wife from the dead, no matter the cost. So you head out to this point in the ocean. You have all of your different items. You've got like a music box, a key, other things, a pocket watch, and you're throwing them in one by one by one. Then as you do it, you're reciting the ritual, and this gloriously horrible feeling music, like visuals take hold, where you see something slowly rising from the depths of the ocean, and it's this figure loomed over. It's your wife coming back, and she rises up. And as she rises, something dreadful in the background rises with her, and it is all-encompassing on the screen. And I can only describe it as something. It's the head of some Lovecraftian eldritch abomination that is risen from your actions and is staring straight at you, and then the game cuts to black. And it's just so amazingly done. I have to talk about it, and this is the way that I can link it in, because it's just that little moment of doing something selfish, of doing something, evil by the laws of nature, evil by it being so self-gaining. You're dooming a whole world to the rise of this eldritch creature. Every time I play the game, I've got like an end of game save. So every time I go in to do a bit of fishing, I will do this ending so I get to see my beast.
I just hope you never get faced with this choice, Ash, because I think I know which one you'd choose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big
Evil
man. Evil man.
Now, obviously, I am actually really lovely as a person. And
You
I find
are,
it
Dave.
Thank you, Rosie.
You are.
Do you want to?
Does this reflect on my appraisal? or-
I'm really lovely as a person. And I find it incredibly difficult to be evil in video games. Like, really. I'm not saying this like, oh, I'm so good. I'm annoyed at myself. I find it so difficult to be evil in video games. Like, why? It looks like so much fun. I look at Rob. He seems to be having a great time. He's just giggling and laughing. However, there is one thing I can never turn down in video games, and there is one studio which is the king of this thing. The thing is the Rampage. And the studio is, of course, Rockstar. I've been thinking a lot about like which of these games is the ultimate, and for me, it's Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh.
I think that this is because in GTA, I find myself just kind of mindlessly evil. Just like I'm in a car, someone's on the pavement,
Whoops.
My hand just slips. Oh no, I've run over someone. Oh, the police saw that. Now we're going to... It's like kind of like... It's just like your basic vanilla evil. In Red Dead, I find myself role-playing evil. And the quintessential kind of version of this is the Great Train Robbery. Anytime I go past a ticket office, I love so much that this is part of it. Like, you can just come across a train, obviously, ride your horse alongside, jump on, you're doing a train robbery. But my favourite thing to do, by far, is to buy a ticket. Because, first of all, it brings the train...
You evil fiend!
It brings a train right there.
Buying a ticket.
First of all, you don't have to wait for a train, it just arrives. But second of all, I just love the role that I am playing at that point. You know, I love inhabiting that evil guy who has put a little bit of planning into this.
His name's Arthur.
He's not Arthur at that point. He's very much Evil Dave. I like to take my time. You know, I like to sit for a while, maybe look around the carriage, see who else is there, hear a little bit of conversation. I like to slowly walk up and down the train to kind of hear the conversation, to see who might be a likely target. And then I like to produce my weapon and begin the robbery.
Give me all your money and nobody gets hurt. Okay.
And the reason I think it's so good is because the people, don't laugh at that, the people on the train, they tend to give you a little bit of attitude. Some of them are just scared. They're not that much fun. I mean, I get a little bit from it. You know, I've got a power trip thing going on. It's okay. But what you want is someone to give you a little bit of something back. You know, a little bit of attitude. Maybe someone tries to be a hero. That's when we escalate to level 2, which is some violence. And, and the thing about Red Dead Redemption 2 is there's so many amazing different ways to be violent. The ultimate version for me, this is where this is going for me really, is I'm going to work my way up the train, stealing, maiming, until I get to the driver. The driver's going to be killed. I'm going to stop the train. Someone's going to be lassoed and hogtied, because this is another amazing just facet. Just like this alone is like an incredible mechanic that could be the whole game. Hog-tying people, dragging them around a bit, and of course, you know where they're going to end up. They're going to end up in front of my train.
No!
I can't help it. It's giving me so much life just thinking about it now. It's the ultimate evil, I think. And I don't even feel bad about it, and I don't know why. I don't know how Red Dead has done this to me, because in my head right now, although I'm saying some kind of horrible things, I feel my conscience is clear somehow.
You went from, oh, I could have possibly roleplay an evil person, to I hog-tie them up and put them in front of my train. So
And I
fast.
bought a ticket.
Exactly.
I am like Dave in the sense that if I play Mass Effect and I pick a answer and for some reason I see it's made me go a bit renegade, I will seriously debate reloading my save because I just don't want to be evil. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm a good shepherd. But there is one game I have where you just have to be evil, and my God, do I enjoy being evil in this game. And it's in Resident Evil Resistance, which is so much fun. We've played it a couple of times on Access, and I don't think I've ever seen Rob be any more fuming than I have when I was the evil genius when we first played it, and I had no idea what was going on with everyone who was playing it, and then literally coming back afterwards because we did that. I couldn't hear anyone, but when we were in the lobby, that's when we were like, "Hi, I'm back. How are you doing?"
Oh God!
Do you remember David literally coming back, and then Rob's just silence, just dead, like he was so angry, but I felt so evil and good. Because the premise of this game is that it's an online game, so you've got a team of survivors and one person is the evil mastermind, and the evil mastermind sees everything that's going on in this map through the cameras and security cameras, things like that. And the survivors, their job is to do a couple of tasks, be it destroy some tubey things or whatever, and escape.
As survivors do.
As survivors do. And as the evil mastermind, you are one of the Resident Evil characters, and your aim is to stop them from escaping. But you can do this in multiple ways. You can have attached little guns to your security cameras, so when they're running around or anything like that, you can just give them a couple of bullets. Only a couple though, because otherwise it'll be a bit OP. You can drop zombies everywhere, different leveled zombies as well. So some of them are just your standard ones, other ones are really tough to get through. You can put traps all over the place. You can turn lights on and off. So if the survivors are like walk into a room filled with zombies and then the lights go off, they're gonna have a bad time. And also you yourself can take control of, like, each evil mastermind has one sort of villain that they can control themselves temporarily. For example, Mr. X or William Birkin. So I liked going in as William Birkin because then you've got like his big sort of mutated arm and he can just swing things around. And I just remember chasing everyone when we played it as William Birkin and just slapping everyone and hearing like the douche, douche, and just like picturing the screams from Dave, Nath, Rob, Dan, everyone to be like, no, please. But you really do feel like a little evil mastermind, like watching the survivors and like running through the rooms, and then suddenly you can just shut a door and lock it for a bit. If they're just about to approach you, you're like, no. And then that's it, it's locked. Then the zombies coming up behind them, and then they're like, they can only just fend for themselves. But you're watching the whole thing through the lens of a camera. And it's just so fantastic. And because I don't know whether it's because I've never been in a situation where I've had security cameras and I can like monitor things, but I do feel like the stereotypical, you know, in the films where you have the evil mastermind with all their monitors and they're like just flipping through all the screens like,
Rosie, weren't you an escape room host? Like, did you not?
Oh yeah, but that's like, you had a couple of cameras. Yeah, when I went to escape room.
You used to lock people in for a living.
Yeah, right. Yeah, to be fair, I did, but not in the sense of like an evil mastermind where you can put traps and like we had one monitor and then there was 4 different cameras in there, but that was just people solving puzzles. And then if they were doing bad, you gave them a hint or had a bit of banter with them.
I feel like you're living out your truth in the Resident Evil game version of this, because you're like, escape room, is it? Have a zombie. This is what I wanted to do all those years ago.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not having this. It doesn't take... She's level 5, for God's sake. She's been playing it all day. I could be level 5 and just putting big zombies in rooms. She's there thinking she's so good at the game. No.
She's back, isn't she?
This is nonsense. I'm not having this.
Hi, Rosie.
How'd you guys find that one?
I'm going to talk about an amazing game for my second entry. It's a game I've talked about before, but there's going to be mega spoilers. So first of all, has everyone in the room played Inside?
Yes.
No.
Have you not really?
Genuinely, no.
Really? Oh, you'd
you
love
genuinely
it.
got to leave, and then you have to agree to play it. I'm serious.
Well, it's on my list. It's on my 2 playlist.
You got to leave. Okay, Rosie, Inside.
Dave.
What a game. And the thing is, like, I know that it's part and parcel for us to talk spoilers here, but sometimes it's like a 3-hour-long game or something, and Ash would love it, so she has to play it.
Yeah,
She doesn't want to hear about
agreed.
it from me. Also, we're going to talk about the end of the game. Inside is a beautiful, amazing, atmospheric game where you play as a small boy who is kind of like, I don't know, is he escaping or is he just figuring out where he is? He's definitely being hunted. He's definitely not in a place he belongs, and he's trying to find his way somewhere. Maybe he's trying to escape, maybe he's trying to get somewhere. He's in this world that doesn't want him to be there. And actually, one of the kind of evil things that I really love about this game, or that makes me evil, is seeing all the different death animations, because
They're horrible.
are exquisite. Like, they are unbelievably horrible. I don't know how they've done it, because for a small character, you're quite far away, like the camera's quite far away. He doesn't have like features of a face. He's kind of, he doesn't have any kind of eyes or mouth or nose or anything. So he's already quite abstract. There's something about the animation and the weight of him.
And the sound as well. There's like
sound
a
is
really
so
weird
haunting.
crunch, but you're like, ugh.
Yeah, so I love in that game, seeing all the different ways he dies. Yes, often it's because I've made a mistake, but also sometimes I will do a bit and be like, oh, I feel like I missed out on a good death animation there. But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the end of the game. And at the end of the game, having been hunted and kind of funneled through this awful world that just wants to hurt you, you kind of end up in this scientific facility. There's all kinds of experiments going on there. There's all kinds of experiments that have happened throughout the game, but it culminates in this group of scientists surrounding this tank. You don't know what's in the tank. You go in and you find this kind of, it's called the Huddle, apparently. That's its official name, or certainly its community name. But it's like a writhing mass of flesh and limbs. It's absolutely horrible. And in trying to kind of free it, the boy, are pulled inside, and then you're controlling it. And this is when the fun begins. And it's a slightly tricky one here, because I think that you're not really evil, you're just trying to escape.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of collateral damage involved, unfortunately. So I think it comes with a bit of a caveat, but escaping that facility is so satisfying, because finally the boy within the huddle has this power, and the animation throughout the game is incredible, but the animation of the huddle is unbelievable. Considering that it's a part of the game that's maybe 15 minutes long, maybe less, maybe 10 minutes long, this thing there's so much detail in it. Controlling it is amazing.
I remember having a really satisfying, when you move and if you change direction, the top of it sort of topples.
It kind of topples.
Topples a little bit. It starts waving.
The way it kind of tries to climb up stuff, the way it picks stuff up, the way it solves puzzles, it's all absolutely amazing. But you are just escaping, and the feeling of escaping is amazing as well. You're just kind of rushing and hurrying and smashing through stuff, and anything and everything in your way gets harmed. And that does include some scientists, but they are, in my head, undoubtedly part of this evil world. They've captured this thing, maybe they've even created it. When you're playing as it, you can hear it's in pain, and it's kind of moaning.
Yeah.
So I think it's all bets are off, and you're only, you've had this whole game of being harassed and harangued and hunted and hurt as the boy, and it's the tables are finally turned, and you are smashing the place up. You are smashing into people, you are falling on people, causing a horrible little bloody pool. You are just escaping, and I think that it's an amazing release, having been through the horrors of the first part of the game, finally getting to turn the tables. It's just exquisite, and it's such an amazing end to this game, this story. It's unbelievable when you finally escape and you land in this pool of sunlight. Again, the game's so ambiguous. Doesn't really tell you what's happened, but I think you understand enough about that world to just feel a sense of satisfaction and a sense of relief. It's great.
I'm going to talk about a game now by a developer that is famed for this sort of game, and that is Supermassive Games. Oh, my babies, I love them. And you may know them from titles such as Until Dawn or the Dark Pictures Anthology, or in this entry, what I'm going to talk about, The Quarry. Now, Supermassive Games are famous for making branching narrative horror games that are basically love letters to cinematic horror. It's like playing a movie, and it has all of the tropes and references that you'd expect and want and love as a horror fan playing these sort of games. And it's so much fun because you are trying to save a bunch of camp counselor teenagers that are stuck at Hackett's Quarry for one night when the moon is full.
Oh.
And playing the game, you can try and save them all and keep them all alive to the end, which, is the right thing to do. You want to keep everyone alive so you can see all the different parts of their story and have all the characters alive so you see how it all goes on. But there's also the fun way, which is the evil way. And in the evil way, it is kill everybody as fast and as horrifically as possible, because they have designed some gore in this. They have designed it. It's curated gore. It's so icky and nasty. Oh, I just love it so much. And The Quarry is my example here of how fun it is to be evil, because I think the horror references are just so sublime throughout. My hand's doing this.
Sublime horror hands.
Sublime.
Lobstering.
It's very much just leans in totally. We're at a summer camp. It's Friday the 13th. It's sleepaway camp. They're camp counselors. They're all working together to do these different things. It's in the middle of this hot, arid kind of place. It's very Texas Chainsaw. It's very Deliverance. It's got all of these kind of old school vibes. And then super modern actors that I don't want to say A-list, but they're kind of some of them are, obviously, but they're very much horror faces as well, or popular teen faces. It's got a Modern Family actor in there, Ariel Winters, which I always thought was a big pop, because it's you just see it always as this nerdy young girl, and then she's oh, I'm in a horror thing, which is so good. But you've got Lynn Shay in there as well, who's obviously Insidious royalty. So yes, the actors are good, and seeing them die is even better. So this one stands out because, to me, one of my favourite deaths is said Ariel Winters, Abigail, getting killed when she's faced with one of the creatures that appear when the moon is full.
Oh, creatures.
Creatures when the moon is full. And she's faced with one, and you can choose whether to shoot at it or not. The second time around, when I was let's kill everyone, I was like, Abby baby, with my hands like this. And that death is just the pinnacle of being evil in this game for me, because it's her getting her head absolutely torn off by the creature. Like, it's like crunchy, ripping, like it takes some work to get it off. And he tears it, throws it across the room, right? And his little head bounces around and then comes to a stop in the middle of the screen. And like you pan to all of the teenagers like, oh my God! and then it just ends with this slow zoom on Ariel Winter's decapitated head. Like, if you just play as a bit of a jerk, a bit of an ash hole, then it just works so well and is so satisfying and pays off again and again and again. So yes, I'm excited. I'm gonna go play it again. I'm gonna go kill some people. And it's the same for all of the other ones as well. Like in the Dark Pictures anthology, In Until Dawn, you're just constantly getting delicious, horrible horror. But yeah, the Quarry. Oh.
Oh, that is quite enough evil from us. It's given me the willies. What a sinister bunch. Dare I ask for the evil moments that make you feel good? Put them in the comments, you naughty bunch, and subscribe to PlayStation Access for only the purest of good stuff from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching.
PlayStation